Now let's cross now to Washington, where I understand Donald Trump has been briefing reporters on the latest in regards to Iran. We should be getting live images of the American leader talking.
You don't have to look at my waist. You can look at this. You saw enough of my waist along with President Xi.
Are you confident that you can reach a diplomatic deal
with Cuba? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I am very prone toward the Cuban Americans. They've been incredible people. Many of them have lost family members. They've been very badly hurt themselves. They've been in prison. They've come to this country and they've been very successful. The Cuban American people in Miami, I mean, they are amazing people. Most of them are in Miami, in Florida, but mostly in Miami. I'm very, very prone to helping them. I mean, they've been, I think I got 97% of that vote. I want to help them. Now, they have family members in Cuba. They've been treated very, very badly. They've been treated extremely badly, and we're going to get that solved. That's not going to be hard for us to solve.
You can do that without changing the regime.
Well, I don't know about changing the regime. I can do that, whether you change the regime or not. You know, it's been a rough regime. They've killed a lot of people, but it's a country that really needs help. It has nothing. They can't turn on the lights. They can't eat. We don't want to see that.
How much notice did the Gulf nations have? How much notice did the Gulf nations have that you were going to do these strikes before they asked you to pause?
They called me over the last 2 days to say they made a lot of progress in there, because we have them negotiating with us, and primarily Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, a little bit, and Bahrain, and some of the others. And we have them negotiating with them. We're all working together. It's like a team. And Israel, of course, and Israel's been a great partner. And so we are negotiating together. I got a call from numerous of these people. They know the people in Iran. Don't forget, when you talk about regime change, I think it's the ultimate regime change, because the first level and the second level are no longer with us. They're someplace, but they're no longer with us. So we have real regime change. But I got a call yesterday, sir, could you wait? We think we're close to a deal. And that's okay. Now, I've heard it before with these people, and they change their mind. I made deals with them, no nuclear. We immediately get the nuclear dust. And they said, you're the only one can get it, because the bombers did such an unbelievable job that the mountain literally collapsed on top of it. They said us, and they thought China would be the only two countries that could even get it. But I think it's important to get it, maybe psychologically more than anything else.
How long did the Gulf nations know? How long did they know that you were planning the Gulf nations?
They knew I was getting ready to attack. I didn't tell them. I never tell anybody when.
You're in constant contact?
I never tell anybody when, but they knew that we were very close. I would say I was an hour away from making the decision to go today. And we would probably not be talking about a beautiful ballroom today. We'd be talking about that. And no, I had made the decision. So they called up. They had heard I made the decision. They said, sir, could you give us a couple of more days? Because we think they're being reasonable.
How many days for Iran to come to?
Well, I mean, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something, maybe early next week, a limited period of time. Because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would start with Israel. They would blow it up, and they would blow it up fast. But they'd blow it up, and I'll tell you what, they'd go after Saudi Arabia, they'd go after Kuwait, they'd go after UAE, they'd go after Qatar, I think they go after the entire Middle East, and it would be a whole different negotiation. It would not be, it would be nuclear holocaust. And there's no question in my mind that they'd use it. There's no question. And I deal with these people. They're extremely radicalized. These are not people like when I deal with you. You're a very nice guy. These are people that are seriously radicalized. They would use it. The only question, would it be the first minute, the first hour, or the first day?
How many pause at some time? Does there come a point where they're no longer going to be interested?
I'm not doing this politically. I'm doing, look, everyone tells me it's unpopular, but I think it's very popular. When they hear that it's having to do with nuclear weapons, weapons that could take out Los Angeles, could take out major cities very quick. When they hear that, you know, when they're explaining, I'll tell you what, when we explain it to people, I don't really have enough time to explain it to people. I'm too busy getting it done. When they understand, I think it's frankly very popular, but whether it's popular or not popular, I have to do it. Because I'm not going to let the world be blown up on my watch. It's not going to happen.
Mr. President, in the primary with Thomas Massey and your endorsed candidate, do you think your candidate can beat him? And what are you seeing?
Yeah, Thomas Massey's a terrible congressman. He's been a terrible congressman from day one. Dealing with him is just horrible. I don't think he's a Republican. I think he's actually a Democrat. He's not a libertarian. You know, sometimes they say he's really a Democrat. He votes against us all the time. He voted against the border wall. He voted against men playing in women's sports. He voted against transgender for everybody, the mutilization of your children. He voted against, again, open borders. We have the best border we've ever had right now. Nobody's coming in. I mean, a report just came out. In the last 11 months, literally nobody has been allowed into our country illegally. We're taking people legally. They go through a process. But nobody's come into our country. But we've taken out hundreds of thousands of people. We had 11,888 murders. Many of these murders allowed into our country from prisons. They were in prisons. Many of these people killed more than one. More than 50% killed more than one person. This was gross malfeasance. This was on behalf of the Biden administration. I don't know Biden because I don't think he knew he was alive. But Kamala, was the border czar. She never called, not one time, she never called the Border Patrol. She never called ICE. She never called law enforcement. She never went to the border. Think of it. I used to call every single day. And that's recently. Now I call less. We have nobody coming through. We had caravans coming through with tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. We had no idea who they were. We would have been, I'll tell you what, our country would have been destroyed. If they won this election, our country would have been.
And you've been listening there to Donald Trump, who's just been holding an impromptu press conference as he gives the media a tour of the latest progress on the work in building his new ballroom attached to the White House. Of course, the main thing he was saying there is how he's postponed a major attack on Iran, which was planned today at the request of his allies in the Gulf. This, as the Gulf allies say, they feel a deal with Tehran could be very close. Now, watching that with me in the studio is our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley. No surprise there in terms of what we were hearing from the American president. The idea being that the ceasefire will remain in place for a couple of days, as possibly as late as early next week.
Yeah, classic Trump. And he was saying that the Democrats were trying to stop him from stopping Iran getting a nuclear bomb, and that anywhere in the United States could be in danger because of this, notably Kentucky. He took a swipe at the Republican congressman that he dislikes intensely, Thomas Massey, who is in the Republican Congress primaries at the moment, being challenged by someone that Trump prefers amongst the Republicans. So, you know, getting it all in there. What is really noticeable is he looks so at home. This is his real estate background. If you've read the book Art of the Deal, and I have, it's very, very old. But, you know, his love of big, flashy buildings with expensive material is really deep. He is utterly at home in any sort of real estate setting, and he's at his most comfortable there. And everyone else better like it. And that's where he's going to be answering questions. So basically, he talked about holding off on Iran and how everybody in the Gulf area, including Israel and all the Gulf states, asked him to hold off. And therefore, he has done so, giving Iran a final chance. He said that Cuba was a failed nation and was calling upon the US for help. And, you know, it was all classic Trump. And he's come up with a new epithet. The Democrats are, from now on, we better get used to it. He will be calling them on the Democrats. It's the sort of thing he loves to do. But none of this disguises, American voters hear this again and again and again and again. They know what he's doing. They know how he's playing them. His core voters do not mind. They factored that in. It's part of his personality. It's how he does politics. And the rest of the United States, we will see how much they are tiring of this way of communicating with them on his terms, with his words and his spin on everything. This, we've just been hearing 64% of American voters in the New York Times, the poll suggests, think the Iran war was a mistake.